Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Tuesday, February the 15th. Now we got a 7-game Tuesday slate. This is one of our, we got a few more slates before the All-Star break. We do have a decent sized slate today. We have 7 games. On Wednesday, we have a really big slate. I think it's 11 on Wednesday, and then Thursday is a little bit of a shorter slate. I think we have 5 games Thursday. And then after that, we're off for a week. The All-Star break is approaching. The All-Star break does start on Friday, so there will be no games from Friday to Wednesday of next week. So these are, going to have a few more videos out. Obviously, I have a video up for Tuesday slate, Wednesday slate, Thursday slate, and then we'll be off for a week. But we got a 7-gamer to break down for today. As always, guys, we're going to talk through each one of these 7 games. We're going to break down each team, kind of give my early thoughts, what I do like, taking a first look at the slate on Monday night. And then as we do go through each game, we will build out an early core. We'll talk about 5 players that specifically stand out to me on both DraftKings and on Yahoo at first look. But as always, before we get started, please do hit the like button down below, guys. I always do appreciate the likes. If you're new to the channel and you have not yet, make sure you click that subscribe button as well. And also check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. So if for any of you that are new here and you have not signed up for PrizePicks yet, if you do sign up over there and use code Noah, they will match your first deposit. PrizePicks will give you a free bet up to $100 when you do sign up with my code. You can take a look at what PrizePicks has to offer when you sign up. It's a very simple site to use. It's more of a player prop-based DFS site, so you're just picking over or under on players' projections. You can see the projections they have for Tuesday's NBA slate. They do already have some stuff posted. They have points projections, assists, rebounds, points, rebounds, assists added up together. They have three-pointers made. They have fantasy point projections as well. Usually they'll get those posted early in the morning. And again, you can take a look at their entire board, make some picks for yourself, go over or under if you have a lean one way or the other, potentially win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. If you guys want to sign up and you have not yet signed up for PrizePicks, be sure to use code NOAH when you do, and they will give you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. And if you guys want my favorite plays on PrizePicks each day, and also the entries that I'm playing myself, that I'm putting my own money on, I do give those out on Patreon. If you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, you want to see all the exclusive content I have to offer over there, you can check that out. It's linked down below in the description, if that's available if you are interested. But let's take a look at Tuesday's 7-game slate. We're going to start off with the Cleveland and Atlanta game. And start off on the Cleveland side. So Cleveland today, kind of an appealing team here because this is a really good matchup against Atlanta. Atlanta this season hasn't been as good defensively as they were last year. Guys like Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Darius Garland, I think are all viable on this slate. Jared Allen, kind of been inconsistent this season, but we know still offers a big ceiling. Price tag's come down as well a little bit. He was priced in like the mid-8s after a few bad games. Last game against Philly in a tough matchup against Embiid, didn't do that well, but the price tag came down to $7,600. I think Jared Allen's an appealing option. I think he'll be fairly low owned on this slate. So I think going to him in tournaments is fine. Karis LeVert's going to be a tough guy to go to. He's been coming off the bench lately, and I don't know if LeVert's going to come off the bench the rest of the season. I would have to think at some point he's going to move into the starting lineup, but while he's coming off the bench, he's still going to get good minutes. I just don't know if he's going to be worth this $7,500 salary. I would much rather go to Darius Garland if I had to pick one of the 2 Cleveland guys to roster. Garland, since LeVert has come on to the team, I think that's hurt Garland a little bit. We have seen Garland kind of tail off a little bit. He hasn't shown that massive upside. We haven't had a huge Garland game in a while. Last big game from him was about almost a month ago against Brooklyn. I know he's been out for a good amount of time, but it's been almost a month since Garland's put up over 50 DraftKings points. Now, again, he's missed a lot of games because he's been out. But I think, LeVert being in the mix now does kind of cap the upside a little bit on Garland. But I will say at $7,400 in a good matchup against Atlanta, Garland has the upside to pay off this price tag. He might be my favorite play from Cleveland if I had to play anyone here. Evan Mobley, hasn't shown a massive ceiling this year. Does have a fairly high floor. But at $6,500, I think, Mobley's kind of priced where he should be. I don't mind him, though, on this slate. Those 4 guys are all viable. I would say that, ranking them, it would probably be Garland, Allen, Mobley, LeVert in that order for me, ranking the Cavs guys. I don't think I'd be going to anyone else on Cleveland. Those are really the only 4 guys I have interest in today. And then moving on to the Atlanta side. So Atlanta, they're kind of thin. They're going to be without John Collins once again for this game. I believe Bogdan Bogdanovic is questionable, and I think DeLon Wright is questionable as well. So, John Collins being out, that does actually make a big difference. We saw Clint Capella last game actually get up to over 30 minutes for the first time in what's been forever. Last time Clint Capella played over 30 minutes was literally January the 3rd. So it's been over a month and a half since Clint Capella has played over 30 minutes. I think not having John Collins out there, that's one less big they have that they can give minutes to. We do see Atlanta at times play small and, play John Collins at the 5. I don't think they're going to be able to do like any sort of small ball lineups here. You know, they have Gallo they could give some minutes to. They have a Okongwu off the bench. But against this Cleveland team that plays big, you should see big minutes here for Clint Capella. You know, so far this season when they've played Cleveland, I think he's played big minutes in both games. One of the games they played against Cleveland, they were really shorthanded, but Capella played 40 minutes in that game. And then earlier this year, you know, towards the beginning of the season, they played Cleveland. He only played 27 minutes, but he was still pretty solid. You know, 34 DK points. I just think with the absence of John Collins, given the matchup against Cleveland where you kind of have to go big against them, I think we get over 30 minutes from Clint Capella today. And at 5,300, I mean, Clint Capella looks like one of the best plays on the slate. I have a lot of interest in him on both sides. He's really cheap on both sides. On Yahoo, he's very cheap over there. If you want to play Clint Capella on Yahoo, I think at $21 at center, he looks like a really good option on Yahoo. You know, Capella, always been a really, really good point per minute player. It's just the minutes lately have not been there. Last game we saw him get up to over 30 minutes. I think once again he'll play over 30 minutes today. And at 5,300, you know, he's a really, really good option in my opinion. Trae Young, a little bit of a tougher spot against a good Cleveland defense, but you know, he should play big minutes here as well. I think his usage should be up without John Collins. We saw him take 26 shots last game against Boston. Didn't even shoot the ball that well and still had 55 DraftKings points. Like, I think Trae's ceiling is definitely there. And the price tag at 9,300, like, we're not really paying a premium for Trae. You know, we're not having to pay over 10K. We're not having to pay the high nines for him. He's in the low nines today, which is a price tag we don't really see Trae in that often. So even in a tough spot, like, I don't mind going to Trae on the slate. With Bogdan being questionable, I think this does, you know, impact a little bit. I think if Bogdan gets ruled out, that just makes guys like Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter look a little bit more appealing. I would have some interest in both of those guys, especially with you know, John Collins out too. Gallos did start last game in place of John Collins. He didn't play that well. 23 minutes, only 5 DraftKings points. He literally had 5 points, and that was it. No rebounds, no assists, no blocks, no steals, just 5 points. He did hit a 3, so he got, you know, the half-point bonus. But, I mean, Gallo did not look great in his start in place of John Collins, but we know Gallo can be productive when he does get minutes. If he starts again, which I'm guessing he will, like, I don't hate Gallo for value. I don't think he's, like, a great play, but he probably does play mid to high 20s minutes, and at 4,500, he is a viable option. And that's really it from Atlanta. I don't think I'd be going to anyone else here, so we can move on to the next game, talk about Dallas and Miami. Looking at Dallas today, you know, Luka at the top, 12K. I don't have an issue with Luka on this slate. He's been amazing as of late. I mean, you look at Luka's game log, over 70 DraftKings points, and what's been, you know, what, like 5 out of his last 7 games, over 50 DraftKings points for Luka. He's got over 65 DK points in 6 out of his last 7. Dude's just been playing at an elite level. Now, the matchup against Miami is not ideal. Probably going to see a lot of Jimmy Butler defense. Jimmy Butler, a really good defender. But if this game stays close, it's probably because Luka is going off. And Luka's just shown such a massive ceiling lately that I definitely think Luka is in play on the slate. Now, Spencer Dinwiddie, he will be available to make his debut for the Mavs today. So we'll have to see how, you know, does Luka's usage go down with Dinwiddie in the lineup? I guess it's possible. I don't know what they're going to do with the starting lineup. I'm guessing that Dinwiddie will start and they'll move Brunson back to the bench, but maybe they start Brunson, Dinwiddie, Luka all together. I don't think they would do that. But there's a good chance Dinwiddie will start. Maybe that means Brunson goes back to the bench. You know, Dinwiddie, it's always tough to predict, like, what are guys' roles going to be in their first game with the team. It's tough to, you know, tell what his usage is going to look like playing alongside Luka. So it's probably just a wait and see for me on Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie being in the mix now would take me off of guys like Brunson and Bullock and DFS. But I think Luka as a tournament play is definitely fine, even in a tough matchup. I don't hate going to him. That's really it, though, from the Mavs. On the Miami side, looking at the Heat today, so, you know, really important news here with Jimmy Butler currently questionable. Obviously, this is, you know, slate-altering news. If Jimmy Butler plays today, I think at 8,600, like, the price tag actually has come down a little bit on Jimmy Butler. We're not having to pay over 9K for him like we have been for a while. You know, he's had some bad games lately, 28 DK points against the Wizards. You know, last game against Brooklyn was not good, only 23 DK points. But we know Jimmy does offer a big ceiling and can put up a big game any night. And again, you know, he's only 8,600. This is not a super expensive price tag for Jimmy Butler. So if he does play today, I think Jimmy Butler would be a solid option. If he's out, we kind of know who to go to. It's going to be Bam Adebayo. It's going to be Kyle Lowry. Bam and Lowry would both be, you know, 2 of the best plays on the slate, in my opinion, if Jimmy does sit, because obviously, you know, Hero is out as well. Hero being out, you know, that's going to open up a lot of usage as well. You know, going to secure Lowry for big minutes. Like, I think even with Hero out, even if Jimmy plays, Hero being out does benefit Lowry a good amount. You know, Lowry's another guy that has not been great this season, has not shown a massive ceiling, but, you know, did have a triple-double 2 games ago against the Pelicans. I would feel better about Lowry if Jimmy's out, but I think if, you know, even with Hero out, that does make Lowry an appealing option. But right now, it's just kind of a wait and see here with Jimmy news. If Jimmy sits, then we can start to look to Bam, to Lowry. If you want to go to some of the value guys, I don't hate it, like Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent. These guys would definitely be playable as well if Jimmy does wind up sitting. But that's really it for Miami. That's it for this game. We can move on to the next game, talk about Boston and Philadelphia. So this should be a fun game to watch. I think it's on national TV, but I don't know, DFS-wise, if this is going to be a game that I have a lot of interest in. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both offer plenty of upside. In a national TV game, in a big game that should stay close, you would think. Tatum, Brown, both going to play well here. Both should play big minutes. Tatum, I never have a problem with. I think, in this matchup against Philly, he's probably going to see a lot of Matisse Thybulle. I don't think it's like a great spot for Jason Tatum, but he's always playable. Same with Jaylen Brown. Given the price difference, given the discount, I might prefer Brown over Tatum if I had to pick one of the two. I don't think either are like priority spend ups for me, but both are playable. Robert Williams, really tough spot here going up against Joel Embiid, but the minutes have definitely been there for Robert Williams. I mean, you look at the close games lately, 36, 37, 32, 36. Like, these games were all blowouts, so he didn't play his full minutes. He's playing 35, 36 minutes in close games. Again, matchup against Embiid is not ideal. A lot of foul trouble risk as well, having to guard Embiid. But we know Time Lord's a really productive player on a point per minute basis. He can stuff the stat sheet. As a low-owned dart throw, I don't hate going him today. And that's really it from Boston. Marcus Smart, Derek White, Al Horford. These guys I'm not really interested in, but I think Tatum and Brown are playable. I think Rob Williams as a dart throw in tournaments is okay. And that's really it from Boston. Now on the Philly side, looking at the Sixers. So Harden not, still going to be out, I think, through the All-Star break. So while Harden isn't able to play, I mean, the usage, the workload for Joel Embiid should just be massive, like it has been. I mean, you look at the game log for Embiid, it's just crushing every single freaking night. 61, 66, 83 Draftkings points last game, 59, 61, 59, 62. Like, it's just been so good. Matchup against Boston, again, not ideal. He probably will see a lot of Al Horford. I know Al Horford in the past has defended Embiid, I want to say, somewhat well. Embiid at 11-6, I don't hate as a pay-up option. Joel Embiid's one of these guys that you can always play. I don't think this is a great spot for Embiid, but if you want to go there, I'm not going to argue against it. I think I might lean Luka over Embiid if I had to pick like one of those two studs. But I think Joel Embiid is obviously in play. The rest of Philadelphia, Harris and Maxey, these guys I'm not really interested in. These cheap options as well, like Thybulle and Korkmaz, I'm not really going there. I think it's just Embiid that I'm looking to from Philadelphia, and that's probably it from the Sixers. So next game, we can move on and talk about Indiana and Milwaukee. So Indiana, some big news to keep an eye on out of, with the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon been questionable for God knows how long. I mean, I don't think Brogdon's going to play. I mean, it seems like at this point he's just going to be questionable every slate and just not play. I would think they're probably going to hold him out till the All-Star break, and then probably when the All-Star break's over, then Brogdon will return. So I'm honestly expecting Brogdon to be out again. Who knows, but I think he'll be out. I mean, with Brogdon out, we've just seen Tyrese Halliburton have a massive workload. You look at the two games he's played with the Pacers, he's played huge minutes, 40 and 41 minutes, 40 and 57 DraftKings points. He's been taking, decent amount of shots, been getting plenty of assists. He's just been stuffing the stat sheet. And again, the minutes, like Rick Carlisle is playing this dude a ton of minutes right now. 40 minutes, 41 minutes. I think even at 8,500, Tyrese Halliburton with the role he's had with the Pacers so far, he's probably going to be like a 9K player rest of season, especially until Brogdon returns. Duarte's out too, so they're just even more thin than normal. I think Halliburton's a really good play today. I like him quite a bit on both sides. If you want to play him on Yahoo, I think at the shooting guard position, $34. He is definitely one of my favorite shooting guards over on Yahoo. Just with the role he's got right now with this Indiana team, he's going to be a lock and load for me. I think even at 8,500, he still has the upside to pay off this price tag. Buddy Hield at 6K, I don't mind either. You look at the two games that Buddy Hield's played with the Pacers, 40 minutes in both games for Buddy Hield. So I think Buddy Hield's role with Indiana is going to be really good rest of season. He's going to play big minutes on a nightly basis. We know Buddy Hield is kind of a scoring-dependent player, but he's actually been getting a good amount of peripherals lately. 8 assists and 9 rebounds against Cleveland, 8 rebounds and assists last game against Minnesota. It's 6K. I don't mind going to Buddy Hield on this slate. I think his minutes will definitely be there, especially with Duarte out as well. Oshae Brissett, he's just been crushing every night as well. Like, he's ever since they inserted him into the starting lineup, ever since all these trades went down, Brissett's role has been amazing. 38 and 37 minutes in the two games he started, been really productive as well. 47 and 42 DraftKings points for Oshae Brissett. 5,400, the price tag is starting to come up, but I think with how many minutes they're giving Brissett right now, like Buddy Hield, Brissett, Halliburton, like these guys are just playing huge minutes, so I think they're all in play, and I definitely like Brissett at 5,400 on DK. I like him a lot on Yahoo, too, at $16. I think he's one of the better power forward plays on Yahoo. There's a a lot to like from this Pacers team. We'll have to pay attention to the starting lineup. We'll have to see who starts in place of Duarte. I'm guessing the starting lineup, assuming Brogdon doesn't play, they'll start Halliburton, Buddy Hield, Goga, Brissett, and then maybe Lance Stevenson, maybe Dwayne Washington. I'm sure it'll probably be one of those two guys. Probably Washington. If I had to guess, I think Washington will be the guy that starts for Chris Duarte. He's only $3,900. If you need a value option, if Duarte or if Washington does wind up starting for Duarte, I think he'll be in play for value. If they start, Kiefer Sykes, I guess you could go there. If they start Lance Stevenson, I would like him as well. Just to wait and see right now with the Indiana starting lineup, but definitely going to be value to go to from this Indiana team. They could even maybe they could move Brissett down to the 3 and then play like Jalen Smith. They could start Jalen Smith for all we know. We'll have to pay attention to the starting lineup for Indiana. That'll be important, but lots to like from this Pacers team. Even in a tough spot on the road against the Bucks, there's definitely some underpriced players here for what their roles are right now. I mean, we kind of discussed that. But now on the Milwaukee side, so Milwaukee's a team that's just really tough to break down right now. So Giannis was probable for Monday's game, ultimately got downgraded to doubtful and did not wind up playing. We don't have any update on Giannis as of the time I'm making this video on Monday night. If I had to guess, I would think that Giannis just sat out Monday for precautionary reasons so that he could play today. I'm expecting Giannis to play. If he does, at 11-8, I mean, Giannis has massive upside every time he steps on the floor. There's a little bit of blowout risk in this game. I don't know what the Bucks are favored by. I don't think the line's even out yet because they're waiting for Giannis news. But you would have to think if Giannis does play, this game does have some blowout risk. But if it can stay close, I mean, Giannis could absolutely crush here. So Giannis would definitely be in play for me if he's able to go. If Giannis doesn't play, we kind of know who to go to. Now, Middleton, Drew, Portis, none of these guys did great on Monday against Portland. Middleton was pretty solid, but Drew wasn't. Portis really wasn't. These guys would be great plays again. $7,800 for Middleton would be way too cheap if Giannis is out. $7,700 for Drew would be way too cheap. Portis, I think, a little bit more appropriately priced, but even at $6,700, I would like Portis quite a bit. And then we could look to some value guys like Serge Ibaka started in place of Giannis. He played really well. He played big minutes. He wasn't super productive, but he did have the minutes were there, I should say, 31 minutes. I thought Ibaka played better than what he did. I thought he had like a decent amount of DK points, but only 18 DK points from Ibaka. But again, 31 minutes for him. So if he starts again, you could definitely go to Ibaka. Jordan Nwora was the guy that I had interest in. Once it was announced he wasn't starting, I was a little bit hesitant on him. He only played 24 minutes off the bench. Probably wouldn't go to Nwora today unless he winds up starting for Giannis, but it seems like after last night, they're probably going to go back to Ibaka in the starting lineup. Grayson Allen, another guy you could go to for value if Giannis doesn't play. A lot up in the air right now with Milwaukee. We're just going to have to wait and see here when it comes to this Bucks team. If Giannis plays, I think he's viable. If Giannis is out, then we can start to look to Drew, Middleton, Portis. Those guys would all be really, really good plays. But that's it for this game. Moving on to the next one, talking about Charlotte and Minnesota. So Charlotte, I mean, we kind of know the deal with Charlotte right now. They're going to run basically an 8-man rotation. LaMelo, Rozier, Bridges, Oubre, Plumlee, those are going to be the 5 starters. And then off the bench, they're going to play Harrell, Washington, and Boot Knight, and that's probably it. Like, those are going to be the 8 guys that get minutes. I don't think anyone else really plays minutes right now. While Gordon Hayward's still out, while Cody Martin's still out, while McDaniels is still out, it's going to be a tight rotation for Charlotte on a nightly basis. So guys like LaMelo, Rozier, Bridges, these guys are basically locked into high 30s, even close to 40 minutes a night. Last game, LaMelo did get into a little bit of foul trouble. It was looking like Charlotte was going to get blown out against Memphis. They ultimately wound up making a comeback. LaMelo played 33 minutes. Wasn't super productive last game, but we know LaMelo has massive upside. We know he can stuff the stat sheet. And I think the minutes are locked in right now. Like, he's going to play huge minutes if it's a close game. This is one of the premier games of the slate to target. It's got a 244 total right now, which is just absolutely absurd. That's one of the higher totals I think I've seen all season. So far this year, Charlotte, they're playing at the fastest pace in the league, and the Timberwolves are third in pace. So you basically got 2 of the top 3 teams in pace going up against each other. This should be a super high-scoring game. It should be a great DFS game to target. I think LaMelo at 9,100 looks like a really, really strong play today. I like him quite a bit on both sites. If you want to play LaMelo on Yahoo, I think $42 over there. No issues going to LaMelo today. Terry Rozier should be locked into big minutes as well. He's been super productive lately. Almost had back-to-back triple-doubles. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double last game. But he's been really, really productive. He's been playing huge minutes. I think Rozier, even with the price up a little bit, is still a pretty solid play today. Miles Bridges, another guy that should play big minutes. Didn't play as much last game. I think they did go a little, or they did ride the bench a little bit more last game. It was looking like it was going to be a blowout. But I think if this game stays close, we get high 30s, close to 40 minutes from Miles Bridges. No issues going to him. Kelly Oubre as a starter lately has not been very, very good. His minutes have not been as high as I would like. I still think Oubre does offer a big ceiling on the nights where he's knocking down shots. And in a fast-paced game, Oubre definitely has upside here. I think he'll be pretty low-owned. I think he'll be one of the lower-owned Hornets. So, I think Oubre's a good tournament play. I definitely have some interest in him. Plumlee is a tough guy to go to right now. He did play 30 minutes last game. Like going up against Cat, you would think they're probably going to want Plumlee out there, but they do have Montrezl Harrell now that they can give minutes to. Harrell has played solid in his 2 games with Charlotte so far. 22 and 29 minutes, 26, 34 DK points. I think Harrell and Plumlee are probably going to split the center minutes for the most part. Maybe they'll play a little bit alongside each other. I don't have a preference when it comes to the Charlotte bigs. Washington off the bench is fine too, but I definitely think Rozier, LaMelo, those are the guys I really like. And then if you want to go to Bridges and Oubre, I think that's fine. The bigs are okay as well, but that's really it from Charlotte. On the Minnesota side, looking at the Timberwolves, so they're pretty much fully healthy right now. So I don't know if there's going to be anyone that stands out head and shoulders above the rest from Minnesota. But man, like the matchup's so good against Charlotte, this should be such a fast-paced game that it would not be surprising to see Cat, Edwards, D. Russ, like one of these guys is probably going to go off today, if not 2 of the 3. Which 2 or which one's it going to be, I don't really know, but I think the matchup's fantastic for Cat. He should be able to crush against this Charlotte team. I think he'll be really low-owned on this slate at 9,800. I don't think he really projects well at this salary, so even though Cat's expensive, I think he's a viable tournament play. Anthony Edwards, we know, always offers a big ceiling against Charlotte in what should be a fast-paced game. I think Ant has plenty of upside here and is definitely in play as well. And the same could be said for D'Angelo Russell. He's going to play pretty big minutes if this is a close game. 7,300, totally viable on this slate if you want to go to him. I think all 3 of the main Minnesota guys are viable. Rest of Minnesota, not as excited about. Patrick Beverley at 5K probably plays like 30 minutes. They're going to want him out there guarding LaMelo and Rozier. Beverly's never a guy that offers a massive ceiling, and I think at 5K he's kind of priced where he should be. Jared Vanderbilt, he probably plays like mid to high 20s minutes. He's been a little bit inconsistent lately. We saw Vanderbilt playing really well for a stretch of games there. He was crushing like every night, and now he's kind of come back down to earth. I still think in a good matchup like this, like Vanderbilt does have some upside, but more of a tournament play, more of like a GPP option. Rest of Minnesota, I'm not really excited about. You're mainly going to be looking to the big 3 here. Cat, Edwards, Russell. Those are going to be the guys you probably want to target the most from Minnesota today. Next game, though, Memphis and New Orleans. So Memphis, another big question mark right now. Ja Morant currently questionable for the Grizzlies. No update on Ja as of now. I don't know. I think this is a back-to-back, so they do play on Wednesday. So, yeah, there's a very good chance that Ja could maybe play today and then sit Wednesday. It looks like they play Portland on Wednesday. I don't know. I guess they could play him today, sit him tomorrow, or he could sit today and play tomorrow. But I think there's a good chance that Ja Morant, if he doesn't play today, he'll play tomorrow. And if he sits today, or if he does play today, he might sit tomorrow. But we'll have to keep an eye on this. He's questionable as of now. Front end of a back-to-back for Memphis. If Ja plays, he is always someone you can look to in tournaments. Now, I will say that Ja, he's kind of come back down to earth these last few games against Charlotte and against Detroit, but we still know that Ja offers big-time upside. And against the Pelicans, I think it's a really good spot for Ja. I don't think New Orleans has, outside of Herb Jones, I don't know if Herb Jones would guard Ja in this situation. Ja should be able to feast in this matchup, so I think Ja's definitely in play if he's able to go. Rest of Memphis, like Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, Steven Adams, at their price points, I don't think any of those guys really stand out to me. The bench guys I'm not really going to. Honestly, it's just Ja that I like from Memphis. Now, by some chance, if Ja does not play today, then we can start to look to the rest of Memphis. Desmond Bane would get a bump. D'Anthony Melton would get a bump. Tyus Jones would probably be one of the best value plays on the slate. Tyus Jones only 3,200. I'm assuming he would start in place of Ja. If Ja does not play, I would like Tyus Jones a ton if Ja does get ruled out. But as of now, expecting Ja to play, he's the one guy that I think I do like from this Memphis team. On New Orleans, though, looking at the Pelicans, so the Pelicans, I don't really see too much I like from this team. Brandon Ingram at 8,200, tough guy to go to right now. I think with CJ McCollum now in the mix and on this team, I think that has kind of hurt Brandon Ingram. We've kind of seen the last 3 games with CJ McCollum in the fold. Ingram has not been great. 20, 26, 42 DraftKings points. Now, I will say the game against Toronto on Monday was a blowout. They blew them out by 30. Ingram only played 29 minutes, but I just think at 8,200, Ingram probably priced where he should be with McCollum now in the mix. McCollum himself at 8K, I think is a viable option. He's been really good so far with the Pelicans, especially the last 2 games. Been playing big minutes as well, been really productive. I think between Ingram or McCollum, I actually might side with McCollum if I had to pick one of those 2 guys. I don't think either one are priority plays for me, but both are viable. J-Val is 7,500. Just been a really frustrating player to roster lately. Has not shown much upside. I mean, you look at the game log for J-Val. I hate to look at game log, but man, like he hasn't put up over 50 DK points in what's been forever. I mean, last time J-Val put up over 50 DK points was literally December 8th, or yeah, December the 8th. It's been over 2 months now that J-Val has put up less than 50 DraftKings points. At 7,500, I mean, you're kind of looking for close to 50 DK points from J-Val to be worth this price tag. He just hasn't been playing that well. He hasn't been as productive as we've seen J-Val be in the past. I still think J-Val can put up a big game any night, but until we see it, I think J-Val is just kind of like a low-owned dart throw. The rest of New Orleans, I'm not really that excited about. I think it's just like, Ingram and J-Val and McCollum is like tournament plays, and that's really it from the Pelicans. Last game of the night, though, the late night hammer. We got the Clippers and the Suns. So the Clippers, they're on the second half of back-to-back. They did beat Golden State. They actually blew out Golden State on Monday. I would expect that everyone plays from the Clippers, but always keep an eye on the injury report. Anytime a team's on a back-to-back. Tough spot here, on a back-to-back going into Phoenix to face a really good Suns team. I think this is a game that does have some blowout risk. But if the Clippers can keep it close, I mean, we should expect pretty big minutes for, a guy like Reggie Jackson, who's been playing really well lately. Price tag is up at 6,400. Don't think the matchup's that great or anything, but Reggie Jackson does offer a big ceiling if the game stays close. Same could be said for Marcus Morris at 6K. He should play big minutes as well. If this is a close game, I don't have any issues with him. My favorite play from the Clippers, though, is definitely Terrence Mann. So Terrence Mann has been playing really, really well lately, and he had another huge game on Monday night against the Warriors. So he played big minutes. He had one of his best games of the season. 39 minutes for Terrence Mann in a blowout. 46 fantasy points, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal, and a block. Terrence Mann looked amazing on Monday. He's been playing really, really big, really good lately in really big minutes as well. With Norman Powell out right now, I think that does secure the minutes for Terrence Mann. We actually saw them sit Luke Kennard on Monday. There's a chance that Luke Kennard could sit again if Luke Kennard does not play. It makes me feel even better about Terrence Mann. Like, I think even in a tough matchup, Terrence Mann's role is just really good right now. He's playing big minutes. He's playing really well. 4,600, he's still really cheap on both sides. He's really cheap on DraftKings, and he's really cheap on Yahoo. I like him a lot on Yahoo at only $13. Terrence Mann definitely stands out as one of the best value plays right now, just with how well he's playing. With Norman Powell, with Norman Powell, Kawhi, PG out, like, the opportunity's there for a guy like Terrence Mann, and he's, thriving. So, definitely like him. I think Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris are fine plays. Zubac going up against Ayton, you would think this is a spot where maybe Zubac could get some minutes. He did play really well against Dallas in 33 minutes. He didn't play as many minutes on Monday against the Warriors, but he was still really productive in his limited minutes. He only played 22 minutes, but did have 28 fantasy points. Like, I think going up against Ayton, they're going to want Zubac out there. So if we get close to 30 minutes from Zubac, he's definitely a viable dart throw at 4,500. That's really it, though, from the Clippers. I think that's everything that stands out from this team. Nicholas Batum did start on Monday. I think he played pretty well, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Batum played 28 minutes, had 31 fantasy points. I don't mind going to him if he starts again. I'd assume he would. So, Batum as a value play, he's really cheap on DraftKings. He's someone you could kind of throw into your player pool. But that's it for the Clippers. Now, moving on to the Suns. So, Chris Paul and Devin Booker, I mean, they haven't been as good as they've been, for the past, week or so. But, man, these guys are just locked into huge minutes right now. We're seeing Chris Paul and Devin Booker both play close to 40 minutes a night in close games. A little bit of blowout risk here, so definitely, possibility these guys don't play their, close to their minute ceiling. But, man, if the game can stay close, I think we'll get 38, 40 minutes from Chris Paul, 38, 40 minutes from Devin Booker. Both these guys, especially with their prices coming down a little bit, I think both are in play today. Don't have an issue with either one. I think, both Suns guards look pretty solid here. We've seen the minutes start to creep up for DeAndre Ayton. Played 25 minutes in a blowout last game against Orlando, 27 minutes in a blowout against Milwaukee. Close game against Philly, he played 30 minutes. So I think we get over 30 minutes from DeAndre Ayton today. I like the matchup a lot against the Clippers. I think Ayton at 6,600 is another viable guy you can look to on this Phoenix team. And after that, after the big three, like Bridges, Jay Crowder, I don't think these guys really stand out. Bridges have been playing well. He's been getting big minutes too, but 5,700, I think he's priced where he should be. Jay Crowder's a guy that I really never played, just never offers much of a ceiling. That's really it from Phoenix. I think the big three here, CP3, Booker, Ayton, the guys I'd really be looking to on these Suns. And that's it, guys. That's it for these 7 games on Tuesday. I hope you guys did enjoy this breakdown. I hope you guys did enjoy this breakdown. Hope it helped as well. If you guys enjoyed, click that like button down below. Click that subscribe button as well. If you have not yet, again, go check out the sponsor of the video, PrizePicks. Go sign up for PrizePicks. Use code Noah. When you do, in PrizePicks will give you a 100% match on your first deposit, up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. If you guys want my favorite plays each day on PrizePicks, along with the entries I'm playing myself, I do give those out on Patreon. If you're interested in all the content I do provide on Patreon, that is also linked down below in the description. You can check that out if you are interested. But good luck on the slate, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.